Game over.
Then that's the thing that brings me up to another point. Then, like, that's one thing I worry about with, like, and now I'm a proof. I'm not full of shit. I've got 2 of your products right here, which, by the way, I use this one every day. The CBG tincture. That's my daily routine. The one negative I will say is that this caramel coffee one has an aroma that escapes the bottle. So I keep a container to keep it in. That is my only negative I have about any of your products.
Good. I was like, oh
no. that coffee product, it does have a caramel component to it, which is probably what you're smelling there. But that coffee product, I take and actually extract high-end coffee. I extract the coffee oils and the coffee terpenes, the caffestrol and K-wall out of that. And those play very nicely with cannabinoids. Those 2 terpenes really do a great job with cannabinoids. And coincidentally, don't take that product at night because because I extract all the caffeine in the same process. I mean, I love it, man. It's
so beautiful. What for people that don't know, because people get confused when I explain to them, they're like, wait a minute, it's a coffee CBD product? Like, what the heck is that? That seems counterproductive. Like, what would you use this for? Because people don't understand.
Late afternoon pick-me-up is what it's beautiful for. It takes the day about 2 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm all wigged out over the daily activity of business. I do that. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. Boom. I take some of that and I'm just in a better state of being. I've lifted a little bit. My energy's up.
I found my body's mellow, but I've also got I got a little pep to me. Like I'm not jittery or anything, but I'm relaxed, but I'm like, ooh, I'm alert. And it's a really nice way for me. Like especially when I do this stuff for a couple hours, I get done and I'm like wiped out and I got to perk myself back up. So when I do Monday and Tuesday, I do 2 shows. I do a show with my friend who are the ones I'm trying to get hooked on this stuff.
We got a whole package for both of you boys. So they'll be going out. I just wanted to make sure you got everything in, both the coffee and the calm body, bunch of gummies. Yeah. So you'll be able to do everything, but you nailed it right there with the coffee. Is that it's like, the cold brew, the iced latte that you need at that 2 o'clock, but I don't want the jitters and I don't want
the jitters or the sugar high.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like I'm talking out my ass. I got a fucking coffee cup right here with.
Yeah, he's got one right too, but it's only 11. It's only 11. It's fine.
It's a bunch of goddamn addicts.
I've got tea, everyone. I've got tea. I can't.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's one reason. Yeah, the lady's the reasonable person. I'm a piece of shit. That's okay. But yeah, no, I don't want to I don't want to overload on caffeine and I don't want to overload on sugar. I'm already having enough stuff with body limitations making me fatter than I want to be. So it's like I don't want to balloon up right now. And so that's one great thing because it's much more natural. You get the caffeine kind of elevation, but your body feels calm. You're mellow. There's no drop off. There's no gut rot or anything that you could get with if coffee goes the wrong way. There's no sugar buzz or anything like that. It's so nice. It's just a nice landing strip to bring in the day.
A funny thing when I was developing that product and playing with coffee being extraction, I was just going for the natural terps and the natural flavonoids. I wanted to flavor. I wasn't even thinking about caffeine. And so I developed it and I thought it and I took it and I'm like, oh, wow, this feels great. This tastes great. So I sent it to product testers. Well, I wasn't thinking about that caffeine. And they had been taking their previous CBD that I sent them at night to help with rest. And so the one tester, I got a hold of her 2 days later. I says, well, what do you think? She says, yeah, I haven't been able to sleep in 2 days. And I said, what? She says, yeah, I take it before bed. And I'm like, that's when it clicked. I said, oh, I need to look up the oil solubility of caffeine. And I started looking at the chemical structure of it. And I'm like, oh, geez, I'm pulling every bit.
I've been giving you a latte every night.
Yeah, that's exactly what was going on. I felt terrible about it. So now that, it comes with that warning whatever.
Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing, too, is I take that one at a smaller dose than the other stuff. And I always tell people, yeah, work your way into it. See how it's going to go. Because I don't think a lot of people realize the way the chemicals get into your body, people are like, oh, caffeine's caffeine. one person even asked me the other day, like, oh, well, why do you smoke it? You can use a vape, you can use edibles. And one thing we touched about this earlier, people absorb things differently. I don't take for the largest part, most edibles don't affect me too well. The tinctures and stuff on the tongue is one thing, but like the gummies and stuff like that, those have a lot lower level of an effect on me. There's a theory it's because I'm a poor white kid who grew up eating trash. I have like a rat stomach, but either way, I can eat uranium. But no, yeah, so like the edible stuff doesn't work as well for me. So that's one reason why I love like the vapes and just natural flower and stuff like that. But when it comes to CBD and deriving them into oils and tinctures, you can get a lot of different stuff that way too. But I don't think people realize, even with something like caffeine, the difference between, say, exuding some caffeine through a water percolation system and, say, extracting it the way you are and distilling it in an oil. Like that's a much different way. The delivery system's faster, all that stuff. Like people don't realize how much that's why I'm like, you test it out. But well, I drink a lot of coffee. Yeah, but just, wait in.
People are kind of surprised because when they say, what's the best way to take my CBD? And I tell them, I said, well, ideally take it in the morning with a very greasy breakfast. And they're like, well, that doesn't sound healthy at all. I'm saying, no, you're using the oily food to bind with the CBD, and then your liver, your digestive system better metabolizes it and sends more of these helpful things. Also, unfortunately, with bacon, a lot of saturated fats.
Yeah.
But that's just a bad side.
Keith's recommendation.
Yeah, my recommendations. But it's so your liver metabolizes things different, and there are different things you can do. But there again, everybody is different. Now, here's the deal. I find it kind of neat. Now, you're not the first person I've heard to say that edibles just don't affect them. Edibles knock me into another galaxy,
right?
And I ain't coming home for a while. But when you eat Delta, let's just pick one, Delta 9. Yeah. When you eat a Delta 9 gummy, it goes through your intestinal diffusion barrier and a water layer and all that. And it finally gets into the liver where it is metabolizes into 11-OH or 11-hydroxy tetrahydrocannabinol. That is like 2 to 5 times more powerful in the real world. So even though you start out with the same Delta 9 molecule as you would if you were smoking a joint or a vape or something like that, it is now a completely different bioactive molecule, and your body behaves very, very differently with it. And that's why people are like, THC is THC, Delta 9 is Delta 9. No. The way your body processes it, when you hit it through a vape, or it goes straight into your capillaries, straight into your bloodstream, and boom, you're getting Delta 9. When you eat Delta 9, when you eat Delta 8, when you eat like all those, it's converting into 11-OH THC. That's just degradation process that creates that, and it's very potent. And
so is there something I can do to improve the success of edibles or something? Should I start eating every edible with a cheeseburger?
Yeah, I would say yes. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I would absolutely say a cheeseburger, a cinnamon roll, something like that would take it.
Emailing a clip of this to my cardiologist
because I mean, if you look, gummies are convenient, they're tasty, they're sweet, they're popular, and they're very easy to dose and control the dose. But as a delivery system, they're not fatty things, and the cannabinoids are fatty. They're lipids, they're lipid molecules. So that's why a brownie with 20 milligrams hits differently than a gummy with 20 milligrams. Okay. And because it's binding to things that the body is better able to grab and process. And that's all it is. We're in our bodies is a contest of water versus oil. And with these types of things. And so you got to trick the oils and trick your body into loving and wanting these oils as much as it does watery things.
Oh, McDonald's did it. Why can't we?
Tell me, bro.
So you can see, like, it's unbelievable to have somebody on our team like Keith that, essentially can explain it beyond that. There's a lot of companies out there that, they truly don't even know what they're getting. I mean, to the extent, and then being able to explain it. I mean, we went on a tour of a town nearby, and we were going into all the stores that sold similar products to ours, and just went in there, and Keith and I are just fucking with them, being like, let's HHC, and just to see what people are telling people, right?
And this guy did say, he goes, well, it's a chemical in the plant. And I wanted to say, no, it doesn't exist in the plant. They were created outside the plant, that one. but I left it because it wasn't worth it.
He's like, they extract it and then they concentrate and they put it into things. And we were like, cool. Then we go to the next place and the guy was like, it makes your head feel high. It's like, there's a lot of people that, they just don't have the facts. They don't have the information. And, it's an industry that is being attacked pretty quickly. I mean, people know, I went to Colorado and I went to the dispensary and everybody will come into our stores and be like, is this like Colorado? Is that like Colorado? Like that's the mentality or the expressions here in Minnesota that people know. That's all they've ever consumed or tried. Now, as we go through legalization and things open up and we, are able to make different things, maybe we should make like a bacon covered chocolate or something so people can absorb it correctly. And then we can tell them exactly why, why it's binding with your lipids. So, it's a really interesting industry to be in. There are so many products out there, do your research, try to find what symptom you truly are. I mean, if you're suffering from all of them, start with one. And then let's work on our sleep. You can go without food and water for, they say 4 days and you'll be fine. But if you go without sleep for 2 days, you're technically clinically insane. If you continue not to sleep, and that's one of the biggest things. People.
I don't mean to brag. I think I was clinically insane before that.
Right? And it's like people that are insane. It affects your mood. It affects how you interact with other people. So it's like pick one thing, figure out what works best, and then go from there and expand, because you can advocate for your own health. You can find solutions beyond pharmaceuticals. You can, figure it out. You don't have to suffer and you don't have to continue to be, somebody that goes, well, my mom always, she never slept. So I guess it just runs in the family. It's like, no.
There are things you can do.
Yeah.
And to have a group of people that when you walk in, they can speak competently on these types of things. That's the difference between the stores we went in and Hemponix. When you walk into Hemponix, you're going to get good advice. And you're not going to say, oh yeah, dude, it just gets you really high, but in a different way. Yeah. Well, that's not really helpful. I mean, what's happening? What's this good for? Why should I buy this over that one? And if you walk in a store and they really can't tell you those things,
walk out.
Yeah.
Walk out.
Yeah.
There, we've got 2 stores right now. One in New London, where it's kind of our first baby that we had after the farm. And then, Wilmer, we just opened up in November. So Wilmer kind of serves a higher population, obviously. We're expanding. We're wanting to expand, hopefully opening another store or 2 this summer. But, when you walk into our store, it's going to be an experience that you probably haven't had at other cannabis stores. So we're going to educate you, and we're never going to push you to take anything or, that isn't going to benefit you. So
right. Well, most stores that I've been in when it comes to CBD products, and this is why I don't do most of them, like I said, most stores that have stuff, they don't make it. They just somebody distributes their stuff or whatever. And so they have a blanket of variety of products. And you're like, oh, what one can you recommend for this? What one can you recommend that? Oh, I don't know. They're all kind of good.
And I'll tell you a little insider secret. When you walk into those stores, they're loaded with all these different brands. Probably half, maybe that's very small. It's probably even a higher percent of that. Of those products inside those different bottles from those different companies, it's the same stuff ultimately made by the same big company out west.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's different is the label and the price. And so someone says, I tried this and it didn't work any better than that. And first thing I think, well, it's probably the same thing, really. And those companies aren't necessarily formulating with science and biology in mind. And that's one thing that we're very focused on here is if I'm going to come up with a formula, there has to be a reason for every milligram that's in it, for every terpene that's in it. Why is that in there and not something else? And all that is just based in anatomy, physiology. And that's a revolution within this industry that needs to happen. Just going to the gas station to buy a product, that guy's not going to help you.
Not only is he not going to help you, he doesn't know jack shit about the thing or where it's made or any of that. And so it's just like I said, I don't deal with a lot of those products because I can't get answers, and that's not like you can't, even though it's legal and stuff, you can't go back like, this didn't work, I want a refund. They're like, well, too bad, man, you ate the gummy. Like, it's just, that's the way it is. So
And with us, online, we do have a 30-day satisfaction guarantee.
Oh yeah, we had that up on the screen a little bit
If you
ago.
buy something and you say, I don't like it didn't work, write us back, and you can pick something else to try. I mean, we want people to find relief. We want them to find what works for them and what's going to help alleviate whatever symptom they're currently dealing with. So, we are, if you have an opportunity, if you are local to Minnesota, or, check out our online, it's free shipping. If you come in store, we're always holding specials. We'll talk to you for hours.
Game over.